Good evening, and I am your host, Free Little, and I am here on the Simply Free Little Talk. And tonight we have another fabulous wisdom nugget will be provided by none other than our amazing Carolyn Jones. She is the CEO of Chance of a Lifetime Coaching. She is also the amazing host of Conversations with Carolyn every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So without further ado, you want these wisdom nuggets that Carolyn has, and I'm going to make sure that you get everything you need tonight because she is packing some serious power. Welcome, Carolyn Jones.
Hello, Free Little. Hello, as we comfortably call you, Free.
Yes,
Thank you for
ma'am.
having me tonight. And I would like to say hello to everyone that's
Please do.
listening on your platform this evening.
Man, thank you. I'm just going to share here tonight with you on the live. I want to make sure that we have you in the Facebook Live for your listeners and your viewers of your show so that someone can follow and know that Carolyn Jones is definitely on live tonight and she's bringing some serious wisdom nuggets. So, Carolyn, I'm going to go ahead. I've introduced you. Everyone is expecting what you have to bring to the table tonight. This is Inspirational Monday, and I do not want to delay what you have to say to the people. I know that I have my notepad ready and I'm ready to take notes, and then I'm going to play the tape back again as I do when there's a good message. And I do want others to do the same because I'm sure that you have us all ready for tonight. So continue, Miss Carolyn.
Well, good evening. You have filled me with such big shoes to fill. So I will just come to you and come to everyone that's listening this evening in the only way that I know how, and that's only in my true, genuine, authentic self. I am Carolyn Jones, and I am just really elated to be able to offer just a few words of how it is that I have developed and how it is that I take my pathways to my journey and the journey in helping others along their way. I am here this evening merely as a messenger. I am grateful to have the opportunity to enjoy the gift of gab, so to speak. I love being able to speak to others in such a way that we can have a conversation, we can have a dialogue, we can understand, respect, and truly be able to collaborate with each other. Which is why this evening, as I've consulted, I am truly a person that believes in God. I am a spiritual person. I love connecting with the ancestors. I love communing with nature. So when you get all of that wrapped up, that's where I get little nuggets to share with you on tonight. I would like to just ask that for those of you who are tuned in on tonight, to just take a moment and just breathe. I want you to be able to just be comfortable and being able to take in what you may hear on tonight. Because sometimes what you hear may not be something that you're familiar with. It may not be something that totally resonates with you. So my thing tonight is that as I continue to deliver my nuggets that have been just transcended down to me, I want you to take them in the genuinity that it is given, and it is with total compassion. I want you to breathe in, and I want you to breathe out. I want you to breathe in, and I want you to breathe out. I am all about self-care and mindfulness. If you follow my page at all, you'll see a lot that I do about being mindful, about being the now. And one thing about being in the now is that it gives you that opportunity to get in tune with yourself, get in tune with appreciating, loving the you that you are, so that you can be ready to do everything that you were purposed here to do. Because believe it or not, whatever situation you're in tonight, whatever thoughts are processing in your mind tonight, whatever has happened and transpired up until this very moment at 7:04 p.m., it's all done and said. This is a new you. You are creating a new you for a new time. 2022 is the year of repair. I want you to remember that 2022 is the year of repair. It's not the year that you're going to go back and be restored from what you had, the successes you had back 5, 10, 15 years ago. It's not to, oh, I just want to be back to where I was before the pandemic. No, 2022 is the year of repair and creation. You're going to repair what's been broken, and you're going to create what's needed for your future. And today, I just want to talk a few minutes about living beyond limitations. It's living beyond limitations. It's all the beauty and boundaries. This is the time that you can own your space. That's right. I want you to be mindful. I want you to be really, really in a place where you can begin to think about, who am I? Who am I really? And who am I really supposed to be? So tonight, I just want to speak briefly to you about living beyond limitations, the time to connect with your own space, connect with yourself, your growth, and what you need to glow in your life. There is something on the inside of you that's yearning to come out, and it needs to be seen. That glow is what God, the universe, and the ancestors has put you on this earth for. So you have a responsibility to glow. You have a responsibility to glow. Every day we find ourselves dealing with boundaries and limitations. We find ourselves dealing with what we think is expected of us, of others, whether it's in a job, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your health, whatever it is, we find ourselves with boundaries and limitations. And we find ourselves diving deeply within ourselves to give all of us, I mean, everything that we have, all of us. And we find ourselves giving it into someone, something, or some thought to bring about the good that we expect others expect of us. Well, I invite you to journal with me. You can journal whether you want to get a piece of paper and write down some of this, whether you want to journal in mentally. You may just be driving, or you may be in a place where you don't have pen and paper, but you may just want to journal mentally, and that's okay too. But I want to invite you to be able to journal with me and follow with me. I love the Shine Network. I love Lisa Nichols. I love Les Brown. I love Maya Angelou. I love all of the knowledge, research, and resources that I've gained. And I'm able to share some of that with you. And in the Shine, there was a tweet that was tweeted by a young lady. And this tweet was like 30,000 times. Yes, it was. And here's the tweet. The other side to giving your all is being empty. I want to read that again. I want to say it again. The other side to giving your all is being empty. So if you continue to give your all and all, you know what? You will find yourself empty. Yes, you will. When we're talking about giving your all, it's unregulated. It has no boundaries or no limitations. They're expecting you to be the mother who gives all in all. They're expecting you to be the sister that have all the answers. They're expecting you to be the employee that can do all the tasks, other duties as assigned. You know, you're expected to be so much. And when you are in that place, you want to be given all that you have to make sure you meet those expectations. Well, here's a little nugget for you today. I don't want you to continue to give your all, because when you give your all, you're undoubtedly going to come up empty. But instead of giving your all, you give your best. And your best is all that you have to give willfully on the inside of you. And when you give it, you're still okay with what you gave. So limitations give us room to do our best, but protect us what we need to have for our own well-being. Maybe that's saving some of your emotional energy or your physical energy or your mental energy, because our minds can go so fast. We can be doing so many things and become so involved that it puts our mind in mental distress. So a lot of times when we're giving so much of ourselves to a thing or a person or a project without saving something for ourselves, we come up empty. So today I want to reflect on limitation or boundaries that you can set on this week that will serve you. Now, this can also be done in a form of meditation. So you make sure that you save this video so you can go back upon it. And when you have time to meditate as you go through this boundary exercise. And what I want you to do is just take a moment and think about a boundary or a limitation that you want to set this week. One that will help you give your best. We're talking about you giving your best, not your all. Your best. And there's a distinct difference. When we give our best, that means we're giving our genuinity. But when we're giving our all, that means we're trying to we're going overboard. You know how sometimes you can overdo something? Well, that's what happens when you're giving your all. You do giving so much when you're not giving what's needed. So you're going to take a moment and think about a boundary or a limitation that you want for yourself this week. Maybe it's how much time you spend working. Maybe it's how much time you want to give TV or social media. If you're giving your way to so much of that and not giving it to obtaining a goal or a dream or a proposal or writing out your business plan, whatever it is, you know you could be doing something, but you're giving too much time to TV or social media. Maybe it's how much time you give to your friends, your family. And God knows sometimes when we're dealing with our grown children, we still think they're children and we still want to look out for their every need, but forget to realize that they're grown. So sometimes it's dealing with those type of energies. What is it about those boundaries and limitations do you want to set? We're just going to talk about this week. We're not going to get too longevity here. We're just going to talk about this week. So remember though, limitations can be hard. They're difficult and they can be quite complex. When you start setting boundaries, they can be quite complex. And it's even harder to enforce. Yeah, it's even harder to enforce. It's easy to want to give everything we got to make sure someone is satisfied, make sure somebody happy, or to make sure that we think or do the politically correct thing. But you must trust enforcing your limitations will help you so much further and get you so much stronger in the long run. So with that limitation you're setting this week, just imagine now that if someone, something, some thought crosses that boundary, you've already set whatever you thought about, that's your boundary. You've set that boundary for this week. But what about if somebody or something come and cross that boundary? Where are you now? How would you handle that? How would you communicate that? Think about how would you speak up? Because it's imperative that you do speak up. How would you speak up? Think about 2 or 3 scenarios there that you could have as a rebuttal. I'm mindful of a time when my son, he was 14, I think it was my oldest. He was 14 years old and he was coming into the knowledge of himself. And we had talked about so-called birds and the bees, but things were getting a little bit getting a little bit more intense. He was engaging with a lot of of young ladies at a school. And there were a lot of times that through the athletic departments and different clubs that they were in, that they would have to be alone waiting on parents to come or whatever. And we began to just talk about situations. And I said to him, I'm like, okay, son, what would you do if a young lady hem you up in the locker room, takes off her clothes and says, oh, I want to have you? He said, oh, mama, no, stop. You're embarrassing me. No. It's not about embarrassment. It's about preparing you. So talk to me, mama and son. We're having a conversation about sex, sexual activities, and how it is that you're going to prepare yourself. Because somewhere down the line, you will be faced with this situation or a similar situation. And we began to dialogue. And what that did for him, it allowed him to think about, well, I always knew what I was supposed to do, but what would I do if she touched her body against my body? If she pressed on areas that made me go, woo, woo, googly. It's going to make you feel a certain way initially, but then the thought process will have to kick in. And that's what I'm saying about the scenarios. Think about how it is you would communicate when somebody crossed that boundary, when something or activity crossed that boundary. How would you speak it up? How would you think about it? What would you say? How would you say it? What specific words would you use? And see, it doesn't seem like it's a lot right now, but these little intricate things matter when it matters the most, because someone or something will cross that boundary. And if it's not handled correctly, you're going to lose your footage and you're going to end up right back where you started from. And sometimes when people fall back, they take a longer time in getting back up, or they just choose to stay there because they're afraid someone saw them and they don't want the shame and the embarrassment because they weren't able to get back up. And then you're further than you were before. So how would you speak with compassionate directness? This is a conversation that my mom had years and years ago, because it is important that you communicate and you communicate effectively. And sometimes when you communicate, people will think because you are assertive that you are aggressive, but that's not the case. That's not the case at all. You can be assertive, get your point across, and demand the respect for who and what you are. Now, to be aggressive would mean that you are going to be yelling, perhaps cursing, perhaps bullying. If you're going to do this or else. But no. But when you're assertive, you're going to say, excuse me, but I choose not to appreciate that type of language. I choose not to be talked to in that manner. I choose not to be intertwined in that type of situation. You are assertive. You're letting them know, no, I'm not a mat that you can walk over, and I'm not one that can be bullied. And in our lives, we are being bullied by so many different areas. We're being bullied on our jobs. We're being bullied in our families. We're being bullied in our communities. We're being bullied by our systems. Yeah, I mean, because, and I'm going to use this. I worked in social services for years and years and years, and I'm still working in it. But in one particular area I worked in where I helped young ladies go from welfare to self-support. And when I say bullied about systems, there were young ladies who were afraid to get off of the government assistance. I mean, the food stamps and the little monthly check that they got. They were afraid to lose that and gain a job where they would make much more than the $200 allotment, much more than the $200 food stamp stipend, and they had more freedom. And I was able to orchestrate a program called Project Success. And through that Project Success, ladies were able to not only get a job, but they were able to get their own cars and eventually able to get into apartments of their own. And then there were some who became homeowners, some who became business owners. But they were bullied by the system because they were told, well, you can't do this. You can't have a man in your house. You can't do this and you can't do that. Don't let anything bully you from the dreams, the goals, and what God has placed in your heart, purpose for you to do. So let's fast forward to the future. Okay, we've talked about the boundaries. We've talked about what if someone crossed those boundaries, how it is that you're going to deal with that. Let's talk about how you feel sticking to those boundaries. How is it that you feel that I've made a conscious decision and I'm going to stick to it? If you will, for this week, think about how will this boundary benefit me? How will it help save me some time and some energy so that I can think all about myself? How will you feel living beyond the limitations? Take the next week and reflect on how this limitation can serve you. And I'm going to share with you how I did. And I have a true situation. I'm dealing with some health issues. And I made a conscious decision that I was going to no longer have to use my diabetic medication, that I was going to get off the medication. So I stopped taking my diabetes medication this week. But you know what my boundary is? My boundary was all the different snacks that my husband have here, all the different pastas that I love. And every time I get ready to go and get a piece of chocolate, I quickly snap my hand and I say to myself, now, will this lower my blood sugar or will it increase my blood sugar? Will this help me feel sluggish or will this give me energy? Will this help me to get off my medicine or will it keep me on my medicine? Will this help me lose the medicine or will it increase my take away from my wealth? Because the more I'm on the medicine, the more money I'll have to spend on the medicines, the more money I have to spend with the doctors, the more money I have to spend in the hospitals. I'm spending more money when that money can be going on my wealth. It can be going on my business. It can be going on my outreaches, helping someone else. That's what I've been having to deal with. So all this week, I have a conscious thing. When I get ready to have that urge to go and eat something that I shouldn't, I do the snap back. You may not want to hit yourself, but I do the snap back. And that makes me, it triggers, why did you hit yourself? Well, I hit myself because I needed to consciously think about the next step that I was going to take. So here's the affirmation that I want for you to put in place inside yourself to prepare yourself for any and every boundary that cross your limitations. I want you to say to yourself, I will set boundaries that serve me. I will set boundaries that serve me. Stay focused in that, knowing that you do so much to give your all, and all the time you will surely end up empty. You don't want to end up empty. Do you deserve to be empty or do you deserve to have something full? So you can have a full life by being able to appreciate the full inner you and give everything that you have as your best. Knowing and sharing this with someone, it's okay to have limitations. It's okay to have boundaries. Just do your best. Take care and know you got this. So your affirmation is what? I will set boundaries that serve me. There are three types of pitfalls that we can fall in. And you got to just make sure you set your boundaries so that as you fall in some of these pitfalls, you can be able to understand where you are and what you can do to get out. There are three types of pitfalls, and one that you're pushed in. I used to follow Beth Moore. I have a book that she has, and it's falling into the pits. And there's some pits that you're just pushed in by someone else, family heritage, you know, you have a divorce, job loss. That's a pushed in pit. That's something that you just get pushed into. Then there's the pit that you slip into. You slip into. Once again, think about these boundaries now. How are you going to set your boundaries so that when you get into one of these pits, there's somebody that you're just pushed in and you didn't do it, but you got to deal with it. When you set scenarios, set yourself up with boundaries and limitations and come up with rebuttals of, you know what, I'm going to deal with it like this. I'm going to deal with it like that. Then there are those that you slipped in by your own unplanning doing. Maybe you started a diet with eating and you weren't able to stay on your diet. Well, here's the deal. You slipped into that pit, but you pull yourself right back up out of that pit. Pull yourself right up out of that pit because you started a diet, you went off of it, just start it again. Distractions happen. It's life. Start it back over again. Then there are those pits that you just jump in. And those are the willfully, you know, those are the ones where you willfully, you want to sin, disobedience. Hey, you know, I'll try this, I'll do this. And then you find out, oh, the grass really wasn't greener on the other side. Well, regardless of what type of pit you fall in, you have to be mindful that pit dwelling can be caused by any combination of things, but the main thing is focusing on getting out. You remember the adage about the old goat? That old goat got away from his owner, got away from the farm and fell in the well. And that goat fell in there when it fell to the bottom of the well. Well, that goat realized the top of that tunnel of the well was way up there. But he knew if he started patting his feet out of fright and fear. Because when you fall into a pit, you're falling down. And when you're going down, you feel down, you feel dark, you feel deserted, you feel isolated. But when you are in that pit, that's the very moment you just start, that old goat, he started just patting his feet and trying to come back up, patting his feet. And he realized the more he patted his feet, there was some solid ground up under him. And he patted a little bit more and he realized I'm elevated a little bit more, and began to pat and pat and pat. And that ground became solid under his feet until he had patted himself all the way up to the top of the well. His owner saw his head come up and was glad to see him and said, hey, boom, and everything went from there. And that's the same way it is with life. When we fall into our pits, we can't stay there. Sometimes there isn't going to be anyone to get us out because the owner didn't know where the goat was until he saw the head. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to get out until we start the survival of our own, and we begin to mound and mound and mound. And we have pounds and pounds of solid foundation that's right here inside of our hearts. So remember, you can fall into a pit, but you don't have to stay there. There are limits and there are boundaries that you can set that no one else has to cross. You have scenarios, you have comebacks that you can follow up on and say, whoa, just because someone was able to sever through that boundary, you can stop them in mid-smith. And you say, no, this is not going to happen. And I want to leave one thought with you. And I want to share a piece of what I'm working on. And it's called My Perfect Time. And I want you to know that this is your perfect time. Stop waiting for the right time. Your perfect time is your purpose time. We lose so much of ourselves by waiting on the right moment. Waiting until I make enough money. Wait until I save enough money. Wait until the kids get grown. Wait until I move. Wait till this and that. And we wait
No
and we
waiting.
wait, lose so
Mm,
much leverage of who we are. So my perfect time is my purpose time. And I say to you, your
I love
perfect
it.
time is your purpose time. I am healthy and whole, wealthy and wise in every space, in my spirit, in my body, and in my soul. The dynamics of who I am is yet untold. From the crown of my head to the melanin of my feet, I am abundant. I am prosperous in great depth with joy, freedom, and life's longevity. I am at peace
Wow.
with a smile on my face, grace in my pace, pride in my stride. I am authentically me. What about you? Will you set your limits on today? Will you become the authentic you that you are? Stop giving your all, give your best, and live beyond
Hmm.
limitation.
Whew. Thank you for that amazing wisdom nuggets. Oh my God.
I
So
just trust
my
that it will
per-
help someone.
oh, I know. It hit hard for me. My perfect timing is my purpose time.
Your
Wow.
purpose time.
So,
Yes,
in other words, we're right on time when we decide to walk in the purpose. So, stop trying to wait till the situation or the scenario looks perfect or it
absolutely.
appears to be great. You just begin to
Absolutely.
walk in
I
the
have a
purpose.
piece. I have a piece that I wrote a couple of years back, and
Mhm.
in that curriculum, it was success is overrated. A lot of
Okay.
times people look at success at others' expectations, at systems
Exactly.
expectations. But your
Mm.
success, believe it or not, when you do an assessment of your life, you'll find out you're a whole lot better than you were 10 minutes ago. You're in a much better place than you were 5 years ago. You are not the same person you were when you made an erroneous decision, when you made a bad choice, when you did a bad
Ashay.
thing. Just gonna go on and say, you know how it is in the religion of the world. When you sin,
Yeah.
you're not the same person when
Not the
God changed
same.
you, and when you became a child of Him and you chose to follow Him. So there's so many things free, and I want to thank you
Mm.
for an opportunity to
Oh,
share.
it's my
And as
pleasure.
we
My
have
pleasure.
collaborated on lots of conversations. We've
Yes.
collaborated together on different activities, and we have had an opportunity to see where there's so much depth to us, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean DEPTH, depth
Mm.
to us than we'll ever imagine. And we
Wow.
have been bamboozled, we've been sidewinked, we've been
Mm.
told who we aren't and what we can't do. And now is the time that we arise to the
Yes.
occasion of the heart. And the occasion of the heart is that God
Mm.
has a message and a purpose to and through you.
I totally concur. I
And
totally concur. Everything you said. Yes. Beautiful. And Carolyn, when I think of what comes to mind is often we're told it's not your time yet. You're not
mm,
ready for that. You need to do this first
mm-mm.
or that first. When God have you in your purpose, no education,
Yes.
no amount of money in the bank, who you don't know, none of that matters because when you know Him, He'll take you from the back to the front.
Free. One thing that I have learned is that, and this is one of the reasons that Chance of a Lifetime Paul has designated a
Yes, yes,
customized system. Everybody is unique. There is no cookie
every.
cut pattern for life for each and every one of us. Now, there
Mm,
is a system that has been put in place. There is a path that has been put in place, but
yes.
everybody is unique. And what that means for us
Mm,
is that we have to deal with each other where we
yes.
are. I had a conversation and interview and talk with a lady.
Come on,
the
that's
other day,
wisdom.
and it's going to come out. She's going to be on my conversations with Carolyn on Wednesday. But
Awesome. Go ahead and say who it is. I love it.
Well, no, it's Stacey Jones. Stacey Jones is going to, she's an author.
Yes.
She's going to be on conversations with Carolyn. And
Yes,
she shared something with me. And this is a true, genuine jewel about how it is. Your timing is your timing and what God has for you. And she promoted one of the conversations, one of the chapters of the book, where there was a lady who had a learning disability. And of course, everybody thinks that if you got a learning disability, you're not going to flourish or succeed in life. But it changed for her. And what that says to me is, you know, like I said, I love Lisa Nichols. And one of her things was, don't live the lie that has been told to you. We've been living a lie of who we are. We've been living the lie of who we are supposed to be, living a lie of who you're not, you know, who you're not. And like you said, the time people will tell you it's not your time, or you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. And one of the things that I like to do as an activity is do this thing where we have a piece of paper and a pencil, and you have a pencil and a red pen, and you write down every lie that people have told you. You know it was a lie. You know it was a lie. You know it was a lie. You write it down in pencil. You write it down in pencil, and then you go back, and in the red pen, right up under that, write down the truth. Sometimes we don't even know the truth, but we have to think and put down what we want as the truth.
By your faith. Come on.
Go back and revisit that. You erase. See, you're going to have a pencil. And on the bottom of that pencil, the top of the pencil is an eraser. And you're going to go through, and then you're going to erase all the lies. And what do you have left? It's the truth. And that's what we have to do. And, you know, and I'm very transparent. And I want everybody to understand there is a path that you can take. Both of my sons were born out of wedlock. And people, even my own family, I'm going to tell you now, even my own family.
You know, come on.
You ain't going to never amount to hear this. You're not going to, you ain't going to never get married. Don't, you know, everybody you get, they either married or that you ain't going to get nobody. You ain't going to get married. And I'm like, and believe it or not, when you begin to hear a lot of that stuff, you will begin to believe it at some point. Because I begin to have thoughts, well, what's wrong with me? I'm educated, I'm smart, I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, you know, I'm talented. What's wrong with me that I can't seem to get married? And here I am. Now, I'm 30 plus. And so I was saying to myself, well, I guess I won't get married. And then I got into a relationship with a young man that I thought was going to be my husband. But he passed away. So, and there again, oh, well, man, that was my last. I guess I won't be getting married. Now, mind you, I'm going into my 40s. And so it wasn't until I had to accept myself. And I began to say to myself, you know what? If I never get married, I'm still beautiful. I'm still valuable. I'm still pleasurable. And I began to think on those things and those people who helped me. I remember when I was in junior high, and one of my teachers, which was one of the founding reasons I ended up pledging Delta, because I was around so many wonderful women. But this woman told me, she said, "Oh, you're so articulate. You must not." And she said, "Oh, you must not be from the South. Where did you come from? Up north?" I said, "Oh, no, ma'am. I was born and raised here." "Oh, no. I mean, where did you originally from?" "I know you live here, but where you originally from?" Miss Hanley, I'll never forget. She would say, "Well, you are just beautiful and you articulate and you're going to go well in life." And that next year, she encouraged me and sponsored me in one of our pageants. And it was from there that I began to excel in my darkness, because I'm the darkest one of my family. I was the darkest one of my friends. And I felt inferior because I was dark. And so, and my nickname from my grandparents was black gal and chocolate. But
And chocolate.
I learned later that those were terms of endearment. But
Yes,
at that time,
absolutely.
I was
Absolutely.
struggling with that. So you fast forward, and I began to remind myself of those conversations. I began to remember the conversations that my mom had telling me, oh, baby, you are the gift of love, and don't ever lose that. And all of that. And I began to revalue myself. And then I have a fairy tale dream, and I got to tell it before I leave.
Tell it.
I was minding my own business. I had moved back home because I was taking care of my mom. My mom ultimately passed away with cancer. But I had moved back home to take care of my mom. And we had a day at church, and I was, you know how you do, watching your Lifetime movies. I would eat. I'm watching my Lifetime movies in my room. You know, I was still had my room from a little girl. So I was watching television, and the doorbell rang, but I didn't move. I stayed right there because I knew wasn't nobody coming to see me. Well, my niece came in, and my niece said, "Hey, Carol, there's a man here to see you." I'm like, "Me?" I said, "No, nobody asked to come see me, so I know nobody's coming to see me." She said, "Yeah, he smelled good too." I was like, "Really?" So I'm like,
yes.
So me in my sweats, I had on just sweats and a t-shirt, nothing, you know. I went in, and it was a guy who I knew from school, and you know, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" And of course he shared. He said, "Hey, I heard your mom was sick, and I just wanted to come by to check on, see how you're doing." And we talked. He said, "Well, do you mind if I put her on the prayer list at my church?" Sure. From that day to this, that man has not been out of my sight. We start talking, and God bless me with a wonderful husband. And
yes, he's amazing.
We have been married now for 13, 14 years.
Don't get in trouble now.
But it has been such a wonderful journey. He's my biggest supporter. We work so well together. We complement each other. And so what I'm saying is, I said that to say to everybody that's out there, don't let anyone give you and tell you a lie, because they told me I would never get married, and I'm on the best dream of my life, because I did. And on my mom's deathbed, the day before she died, I said, "Mama," she kept saying, let me go, let me go. I'm like, "No, Mom, I don't want you to go. There's some things I want to see you see me do. I want you to see me get married. I want you to see me do this, and I want you to see me do that." She said, "Sweetheart, you've already superseded my expectations."
Come on.
Said,
what an honor.
And she said, "Marry him." She told me that. And that was the confirmation. So I'm saying to you, sometimes when you have your boundaries, sometimes when you have your trials in life, sometimes even in your victories, there's some of you that maybe experience the highest time, you just elevating, you having a good time. Even at your highest moments in life, still set your boundaries so no one can take it, snatch it from you. No one can devalue your work. So I'm not going to take much time, but I just had to share that, because I am living in a way that I had to recreate myself. Now, I'm still
about that.
I'm still mastering moves, but I had to create the Carolyn that I needed to be. And that's how Chance of a Lifetime birthed itself. And that's how Chance of a Lifetime is here as a unique, customized set of curriculums, activities to help people on their journey. We're not here to tell you you're incompetent or you're lazy. We're here to help you. We're here to walk with you on this journey. We're sharing this journey together.
On the journey.
We're doing it together.
Yeah. And right there, and I just want to interject this. What we're doing together, your organization, your business, you're the CEO of Chance of a Lifetime Coaching, which we have collaborated in the past before, because we strongly stand for sisterhood. And I love
Yes.
that we decided to do our book clubs together. She had a desire, I had a desire, God made it happen. And so we're collaborating the book club together. We don't
Yes,
believe in
we are.
division. We want to bring everybody on board. And that's why I say, please say who's coming on your show. It's the author Stacy Jones. The ladies
Mhm.
in my tight circle, we are all entrepreneurs. We all are individuals who strive to work in love, unity, and our faith. And so it's not, when you're a child of the Most High, you want to make sure that Carolyn has what she needs. And Carolyn wants to make sure I have what I need. And Rachel and the others that are on board of this faith
Oh
war.
yes.
It's a journey together. And
It's
I
a
just
journey. It
love you
really
guys. I
is.
love y'all. We're working together to make it happen, because when we stand together in unity and we see another lady doing her thing, come on, baby, come on. We want to see you come up.
Absolutely.
If this platform that God has given to us is available, then come on. Come on. I want to celebrate you. And it's not a
And
competition.
I'm so
You
glad
can't
to
be
hear
in
you say that.
competition. Yeah.
One thing I would like to say is that on this journey, you're going to get people who are going to be naysayers. You're going to
Come
get
on.
people who are not going
Exactly.
to understand your assignment. You're
Come,
going to get people who are
say it
not
again.
going to merge with the same type
Mm,
of feelings that you have. But one thing about it,
true.
you have to learn to let that kind of stuff go. One thing my mom taught me, she said,
Bye-bye.
when you have those type of things, just like when you're in the shower, you let it
Yeah.
rain down like water.
Oof.
It goes down the drain and never comes up again. And there are going to be some people in your life that's going to come in your life, and things and entities are going to come.
Yes.
And the main thing that you do with that, you check it.
Mm-hmm.
Is any of
Definitely.
it, is it going to benefit me? Is it going to do me any good? If it's going to do me, I'll take it. If not, I'll let it go.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never worry about, like I said,
Never.
even if someone situations or brings about things or brings
Yes.
about conversations that was said about you, said about me, now is the time that we take that and we say, okay,
Yeah.
but stop it, nip it in the bud, and just say, okay, all right. And you begin to realize that's not the company, that's not the
Come
conversation you
on.
want to have.
Come on.
And you put something else in that place. So you know when that person call again, you don't have to answer it. or if
Not
you
at
answer
all.
it, or if you answer it, you answer it in a way that you say, okay, well, that's just, you know what, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to have, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to say,
Mm-mm.
well, I heard you said
Never.
this about me. Because this is Women International Month.
Okay.
It's
Come on.
time that we women begin to build each other up.
Up.
It's time that we women begin to collaborate and build a
Yes.
strong consortium of
Yes.
sisterhood to be able to help communities thrive. It's
That's
time for
it.
us. We got to be about building bridges. We got to build some schools. We got to get some
We gotta
land
teach
and
it. Hmm.
plant some vegetables. We got to put our monies together, start open some banks. Now is the time that we got to start coming
Now.
together. We don't have much time. We don't have much time. And I really wish you could understand what I'm saying about
Mm,
collaborating and getting together. It's not
that's right.
about who has the most money or who has the
Mm-mm.
most. It's
Not at all.
about putting our resources, our gifts, our talents together, so
Yeah.
that if I'm going to say, if I'm a good communicator, you're good in media savvy, somebody else is good with finances, somebody
That's
else
right.
is good at marketing. Put all that together and let's build that and make
Amen.
sure that
Amen.
and our very first thing need to be is collaborating and building schools to educate and have a
Exactly.
place us to thrive. We don't have to knock on the door and try to sit at a table that nobody want us. We can bring our own chair or build our own freaking table.
We can create the table, the platforms, and everything else, and want you to be a part of it. Don't want to exclude you. It's not about exclusion anymore. Spiritual maturity individuals understand it's about an inclusion. Include others, and like you said, everyone has a gift, talent, and ability. I want to connect with those eagles. Those eagles say, let's run this race together. Let's soar higher. Oh, you got something? Come on, let me grab you up. Hey, Carolyn, I got in contact with former President Barack Obama. You want him on your show today? Okay, let me hook it up. Rachel, I got former President Barack Obama on the line, or Michelle on the line,
Absolutely.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama. You want her on your show? Or hey, such and such has a t-shirt business. Let me introduce y'all to this person or that person, because they can make it happen. That's what network is all about.
That's what it's all about. And then we all get together.
That's the kingdom agenda. That's the kingdom's agenda. We don't no. Go ahead, because I'm getting excited over here. You done got me all stirred up.
I can go on and on. You just really have to stop and say, cut, Carolyn, it's over. But what I really would love to see, we all have these gifts and talents. We have our businesses, we have our entities, but bring them together under one umbrella. Have a big conference, a consortium, or a continuing series. We already, we know that there are things that are in place that are doing that already, but there are so many people that need to be served. Duplicating service is not going to be a problem at all. Houston is such a huge territory that Houston can still have something going on, and we can still have something going on here. Somebody else can still have something going on there, and we're still having service to all the people that need the help.
And you can still support one another.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So Carolyn, we're going to bring you back another day. We know that there's other things coming down the pipeline that Simply Free Little Talk is going to be a part of, unifying, standing in love, and supporting and bringing up someone. So it's not about a me thing. It's not about a you thing. It's about a us thing. So if you are, and I'm going to close with you on the line. If you are a serious or serial entrepreneur where you desire more, whatever your artistry, whether you sing, whether you operate with a canvas, or you a poet, whatever your gifts are, a writer, author, screenwriter, R&B singer, rapper, whatever you do, they're all coming on our platforms, because the platforms have been set for us to uplift, bring somebody else up with us, not just us by ourselves. And so that's what we're saying tonight, unity. And thank you for the inspiration of letting us know we don't have to stay in the pit. There is a way of escape. So I thank you. I thank you so much. This is Carolyn Jones, everyone. She is the CEO of Chance of a Lifetime Coaching, and she's a phenomenal coach. And she is a lifeline that will help you restore your life. She also is the host of Conversations with Carolyn every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tune in right there on Facebook. She's Carolyn Jones. Look her up. She has an amazing website. I love it. It has all the information. She brings amazing guests every week. It's something interesting. And this Wednesday, she has author Stacey Jones, who I am excited to have on the show, and others that are coming. So we thank you for your time, Carolyn. I thank the audience for tuning in. I encourage you to go back and rewind the tape. Look at it again. Take your nuggets, take your pen to paper, write that vision down, the nuggets that she gave, and start your journey of success today. So Be blessed. Thank you again, Carolyn. Thank you for tuning in to Simply Free Little Talk. We're coming back tomorrow with more guests, and there's more things coming every Monday night at 7 p.m. You will be amazed and you will be encouraged.
If I
Yes,
can, free, let me
yes,
say
please go right
this.
ahead.
I would be remiss if I did
Okay.
not. You were talking about networking.
Yes,
Networking brunch.
definitely.
My
Yes,
Chance of a Lifetime Coach's networking brunch will be April 9th at
yes, say
10
that.
o'clock in the morning. It's going to be at the Hilton Hotel, NASA Clear Lake.
Yes,
It's going to have our featured guest, Barbara Harvey Carter, and she was one of Free's
networking
previous
fun.
guests.
Yes, she
She will
was.
be she'll be reading from her books, autographing books. We will have vendors on site. We will have a smorgasbord of food catered by the Hilton. We will have lots of networking going on. So I want you to please, I'm inviting you to check out our event on Eventbrite. Follow us on Eventbrite. And it's the Denim and Diamonds Spring
Yeah.
Networking Brunch. $75 per ticket. And if you choose to vend, it's $45. But if you choose to vend and brunch, it's only $100 total. You're getting that vending for $25. Or if you just want to come and vend, it's $45. Follow us on Eventbrite. You'll have all the details. Chance of a Lifetime Coaching. It's www.chanceofalifetimecoaching.com. Chanceofalifetimecoaching.com. We invite you, share, bring a friend, and remember, if you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be. My auntie,
Yes.
all
Thank
go
you
be
for that.
amazing.
Yes, I love you so much, my sister. I'm just so grateful you came on to provide us all that information. And yes, thank you for reminding me to definitely say. Now, I did it with your aunt on the show. Barbara was amazing. And we have some things coming up with her. But denim and diamonds on April the 9th of 2022. It's great. Check it out. Go to the website as Carolyn instructed you to. But we are signing off for simply free little talk. I'm excited about everything that's happened. So tune back in, play back this video so that you will get those nuggets because it will transform your life. Thank you.
Namaste.